langsung ke ini ya. Ayo, masuk. Pencet dulu layarnya. Nggak betul. Iya ya. Oke lah ya. Kayaknya nggak sih? Coba Pak ngomong apa pun Pak. Wah, kayaknya live-nya nggak ada suaranya deh. Oh, ada. Iya deh, jangan jadiin aku co-host deh. Deh. Yang Matthew, jangan jadiin co-host. Iya. Share screen. Share screen. Share screen-nya dia. Enggak deh ini. Laptop gue. Ini udah dibuka kan? Ini YouTube-nya? Belum. Ini masih unlisted. Nanti dibagi dua ya. Harus ada orang yang coba mulai kameranya deh Pak. Oh ini. Saya bagi dua yang ini, jadi gue kelihatan tetap yang ini. Karena gue harus kelihatan ini. Udah? Pas dulu. Ada kamu aja. Mati lampu nggak apa-apa, asal nggak jangan mati internet. Kalau mati internet, buset, aku yang OBS susah banget. Belum ya?
Welcome, Tayo. Terima kasih sudah datang untuk memperbaiki kita hari ini. Bahagia.
Belum saya di Karawaci.
Untuk di Karawaci. Berarti Mimi datang kan?
Ini datang sampai kelas ya.
Mantap. Asik aman lah hari ini. Mau Tayo sendiri lah. Dia udah datang supervisor.
Enggak lah, kan misteri jam terbangnya udah tinggi sekarang. Kemarin, ayo, 2 hari lagi.
Berarti Tayo nanti membackup ini ya, Lady ya. Membackup Lady nanti Timmy backup.
Kayak gini kan? Tunggu.
Dan kalau ada hal yang lain mohon berdoa.
Ucapan selamat datang. Ada suaranya sama dia? Udah. Nanti udah tahu kan?
Nanti masih belum punya kan? Berarti abis ini saya mau menontonnya ya untuk ganti.
Bantuin yang streaming. Udah bener kan? Apa lah ya? Yang nyalain mic siapa aja? Nanti kita matiin semua kan? Ya, sini matiin semua. Ya, lagi deh. Siapa yang joget?
Kita hari ini ada istilah Tayo yang joget ya.
Ini PHP semua.
Kita ada hari ini kita akan joget.
Oh, kamera saya nggak bisa.
Gila nih orang.
Udah pusing skripsi.
Oh, udah skripsi ya.
Ini anak SDC. Di minggu pertama langsung ditembak dua dong. Anak SDC. Dikasih ini lagi ya, Dek. Habis videonya dikasih lagi kan? Berarti ditukar aja ya, habis kontak kas ditukar.
Iya. Kan yang dipakai itu lagu-lagu kan.
Nah, gue masukin lagu-lagu.
Sambil mereka
Udah di copy aja. Gitu. Emang dulu kok. Berarti suara tadi di mana?
belum masuk ke ranahnya manajemen.
Coba tes yang terakhir ya. Belum di admit kan, Dek?
Belum.
Ya kan masih lama kan?
Greetings. Ada lagunya nggak? Video saya. Jadi ini dulu ya, Dek. Kotak A. Nah. Oke. Aku share screen. Lainnya nyala deh sih. Dek. Lainnya lockout dulu ya. Lockout sebelah mana ya? Kenapa? Oke. Tapi tadi nggak bisa. Tadi mau langsung masuk nggak bisa. Ada tulisan apa gitu? Masih ada yang share screen gitu. Itu harus dibikin double itu nggak sih? Tayo di hostnya di setting yang double itu nggak? Kalau mau gantinya smooth dari gua ke pertanyaan di hostnya.
Allow
di setting itu nggak?
allow to share double screen sharing gitu.
Iya.
Jangan kalau misalkan dia mau
Salah satu nggak kelihatan.
dibikin double sharing, ntar ininya nggak bisa nyala nih.
Oh.
Soalnya kalau ada video kan harus pakai ini nih. Nah kalau misalkan di double, ntar ininya nggak ada optionnya, jadinya takutnya patah-patah. Terus cuman kalau misalkan kayak mau ganti-gantian share screen nih, misalkan satu orang kelupaan, hostnya bisa langsung stop share screen.
Oh gitu. Berarti di host ya?
Ntar di host ada optionnya kok di stop share
Dia
screen.
hanya host.
Kalau host bisa share screen tapi ngestopinnya nggak bisa. Harus host yang ngestopin.
Oke.
Saya kalau misalnya di double, ntar takutnya yang centang kecil itu hilang, jadinya patah-patah dia.
Dek jangan lupa matiin mic yang itu, Dek. Iya. Ini mic mana yang nyala?
Mic siapa yang nyala ya?
Kayaknya belum, Dek. Lainnya mana? Ini mic siapa yang nyala ya?
Pak. Apa jangan-jangan saya punya ya?
Coba di itu.
Passwordnya masih
Di Zoom ya,
gua kan ya?
Bukan Zoom-nya Pak, OBS-nya.
OBS-nya di settingnya yang keluar di ini aja tuh. Setting OBS-nya yang keluar dari komputer aja. Jangan mic-nya nyala.
Nah, itu saya belum tahu kok gitu.
Maksudnya apa ya?
Ini aku forward ya UPH MOP forward.
Yang mana Pak? Kok gitu?
Ini udah upload. Ini udah upload kok.
Aku juga mute Pak. Cuman kayaknya tuh. Tuh, benar ya deh komputer aku deh.
Ayo, bisa setting OBS nggak?
Tim yang bisa, kalau tim yang waktu itu.
Ya, Timmy belum datang lagi. Audio. Device yang ini kali mikrofon no. Disable. Coba muncul lagi nggak suara kita? Halo.
Audio.
Masih kan?
Oh ya.
Baru apa? Nanti setelah video, oke, thank you for dancing, don't forget to fill di apa?
Oh digituin.
Feedback.
Oh jadi dance dulu baru feedback.
Iya. Dek, dance dulu aja baru feedback ya. Jadi baru langsung feedback.
Coba Pak, putar lagi Pak.
Oh betul. Yang bagian ini jadi cuma nutupin doang.
Iya.
Thank you, don't forget to thank you.
Jadi gue cuma muter layar ini sampai habis
Semuanya out. Oke.
Wah,
Guys, 1 minute kita open room ya. All crew on standby, thank you.
Copy, thank you.
Oke, all crew ready. Music bisa di-play, kita admit participants now.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are all doing well. Allow me to introduce myself as the MC for this public lecture. My name is Anugrah Agung Putranto. While waiting for the other participants to join the public lecture, I would like to welcome the participants who have already joined us today in this public lecture with the title of The New Face of Tourism and Hospitality Industry Post-Pandemic COVID-19. It is an absolute pleasure to be here with all of you attending this public lecture. Before we start the public lecture, I would like to lead all of us in a prayer. I will lead the prayer in Christianity. I encourage the participants to follow along according to their own beliefs, and let's pray. Our Father in heaven, thank you for all the blessings that you have bestowed upon us. We are truly grateful for them. Thank you for allowing us today to meet and share our knowledge and time with one another in this public lecture. May you bless our speakers so that they would be able to impart their God-given knowledge to all of us, and may they be blessed as they continue to bring their expertise to people who need them. Bless the participants as well, so that they would be able to glean this vital information from this activity. And Father, may you also bestow your blessings after this event, so that we may go out and spread what we learned in the spirit of your love and generosity. May we realize that this activity will glorify in your name. Amen. As a quick note, I would like to encourage all of us to follow our Instagram at uph.masterofTourism, where you will find many more information about activities around our faculty. Today, we will be blessed to be able to hear some words from our inspiring and insightful speakers. The first speaker will be talking directly from South Korea. That will be Associate Professor Sul Ki Lee, PhD, from Sejong University in South Korea. Secondly, all the way from Nusa Dua Bali is the Director of ITDC, that is the Indonesian Tourism Development Corporation. And thirdly is the Chairman of IHGMA, that is the Indonesian Hotel General Manager Association. Ibu Dina Mutiara Lemi Apar MM CHE, the Dean of Pelita Harapan School of Hospitality and Tourism, will also be the host for this event, and accompanied by none other than our famous moderator, Ibu Dr. Amelda Prameswari Apar MM. However, there is one more thing that I should address before starting the webinar, that is the house rules. Firstly, please use your full names following the registration on your personal Zoom ID. Secondly, participants will receive an e-certificate after following the public lecture in its entirety, from the beginning to the end. And then please mute or deactivate the microphone during the proceedings of the event to keep quiet or delay the event and not to disturb any other participants. Please use the provided Google form should you wish to ask questions during the Q&A sessions. The link will be shared through the Zoom chat. And finally, please turn on the camera during the photo session at the end of this public lecture, but make sure that you are dressed properly before turning on the camera. Okay, I hope you all understand the house rules. That is to ensure the public lecture will be enjoyable for all of us. Since we just celebrated the 75th Indonesian Independence Day last week, let us all take a moment to sing the Indonesian national anthem, Indonesia Raya. Okay, now let's hear the greetings from Dr. Dina Mutiara Lemni, APAR MNCHE, as the Dean of Pelita Harapan School of Hospitality and Tourism. For Ma'am Dina, the floor is all yours.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And a special good morning to all of our invited speakers. This morning we have Professor Sulkili from Sejong University. We also have Bapak Ngurah Ardita from ITDC Bali, and Bapak Igusti Arya Pering from IHGMA, Indonesia Hotel GM Association. This is a very great morning to all of us, and we thank you to all speakers because they already allocated their time to be able to share with us this morning in Master of Tourism public lectures. So we're not calling this webinar or web seminar, but actually this is the public lectures, the first meeting for our new batch of Master of Tourism in Universitas Pelita Harapan. So in UPH School of Hospitality and Tourism, we have a master program. And for this master program, we always start the new semester with a seminar, inviting reputable speakers from international or the umbrella topic for this morning is about the new phase of tourism and hospitality industry post COVID-19. But actually, we realized that perhaps this pandemic will not be over in a very short time, or perhaps we still have to live with it. And what can we do is find a way how to adapt with it. So, how's the face of hospitality and tourism? Because all of us know that this is a very important sectors. When tourism is not running very well because of the social distancing, physical distancing, and a very high restrictions on people to travel, then many countries, not to say many destinations, are suffering in their economy. So all of the people in this industry, we have to think of a new way, how to adapt, how to adapt with the situation. Because I think there is so much lesson learned from this pandemic. That we have to be ready, be prepared, for any kind of risk in this industry. So far we only think about natural disaster risk. And there are some incidents of terrorism. And from the risk of disease, once we are suffered from MERS or SARS, but COVID-19 is a different story because it is very contagious. So really the industry have to change the way of doing business. When the pandemic happens, at first, tourism and hospitality industry is the first sectors that is very suffered because the basic thing in our industry is about travel. When people cannot travel anymore, then we can say that the industry stopped. However, we see that when people have to do self-quarantine, people have to stop traveling, many of us are longing to travel again. Yeah. Then as human beings, yeah, where we have our wisdom from God, yeah, then many people are start to think about how do we adapt with this situation? How can we provide safe travels? How can we provide safe accommodations? How can we provide safe trip, safe package tour, and all kinds of things that can give security to the travelers, to the tourists. Yeah. So these three speakers, yeah, these three speakers will give us insights, will inspire us, yeah, with what is happening in the industry, what has been done, yeah, so far by the industry, yeah, in order to think of the new way, yeah, in doing business in tourism. So I really hope that all of the participants this morning, yeah, please do pay attention and listen to all of the inspiring thoughts, yeah, from these three speakers. So as students or as lecturers, or perhaps you are industry stakeholders, yeah, all of us can get ideas from these three speakers this morning. So Professor Sokili, he will talk about the future prediction of how people in the industry what kind of accommodation being preferred, yeah, by the future customers in hotels. And Pak Ardito will update us with all of the preparation and the current situation in the destination in Indonesia, especially in Bali, because Bali is our reference for the most advanced tourism destination in Indonesia. And Bapak Arya Pering as the president of IHGMA, Indonesia Hotel GM Association, will enlighten us about what has been prepared by the Indonesian hoteliers, yeah, to make sure that we are ready for the new era in tourism and hospitality. In this opportunity, I want to especially welcome our new batch of Master of Tourism program. Yeah. I hope that this first first lecture, yeah, especially to all of you who doesn't have background in tourism and hospitality, yeah, you will straightly get insights from people who are very good and reputable, yeah, in their area, yeah, this Professor Sulkili, Bapak Ardita, and Bapak Arya Pering. Let's start this semester with all of the excitement, yeah. We should limit our travel now, but it doesn't mean that we have to stop traveling. We are still looking forward to travel tomorrow. So we welcome to all participants. We welcome to all speakers, yeah, and especially we welcome the new batch of Master of Tourism Universitas Pelita Harapan. Thank you and good morning.
A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
And
Understanding is the first step to acceptance, and only with acceptance can there be recovery.
Knowledge without application is simply knowledge. Applying knowledge to one's life is a wisdom, and that's the ultimate virtue.
Persistence and resilience only come from having given the chance to learn through difficult problems.
Man cannot discover new oceans unless he has the courage to lose the sight of the shore.
Don't ever feel like you have missed the boat.
Don't have what it takes or cannot achieve your dreams.
Instead of removing your dreams, remove the fears and doubts keeping you from them. It's never ever too late.
Wherever you go with all your heart.
We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit.
Winning doesn't always mean being first. Winning means you are doing better than you have done before.
Indonesia is a beautiful country with hundreds of beautiful tourism destinations. This destination needs to be developed in a sustainable way. So we welcome you, the new batch of Master of Tourism Study Program, School of Hospitality and Tourism, Universitas Pelita Harapan. Indonesia tourism needs you, and the world needs you.
Such inspiring words for us all. Thank you, Memdina. So, without further ado, let's start our public lecture today. I would like to invite Ibu Dr. Amelda Prameswari, APAR MM, as our moderator for today's public lecture. To Mem Ames, the floor is all yours.
So before we start, I would like to greet everyone a very good morning, especially to the participants, to the new students of UPH Master of Tourism. Welcome to today's public lecture. We also would like to welcome all the participants from all over Indonesia. Thank you so much for attending our public lecture. So as Ibu Dina has mentioned earlier, that today in our public lecture, we are so honored to have 3 expert speakers. One from the academician, and the other 2 is the practitioners, which is from the destination and also from the hospitality industry. Well, we don't want to wait longer, right? To really want to see and also hear what they are going to share to us this morning in our public lecture. So I would like to invite the first keynote speakers, Associate Professor Silky Lee. Let's give him an applause first for Professor Silky Lee. Professor Silky comes from all over from Korea, South Korea. Wow, so far away, right? But he is here today to share with us his knowledge and also to share what would be new phase of tourism and hospitality post-pandemic COVID-19 would be. So Professor Silky Lee is an associate professor in the College of Hospitality and Tourism Management. He is also the Associate Dean of International Affairs, Director of the Tourism Industry Data Analytics Lab, or TIDAL, and Director of the Link Plus project at Sejong University, South Korea. Professor Silky's research involves application of urban economic theories and spatial econometrics methods to investigation of location-related problems for tourism and hospitality firms, such as clusters and agglomerations. He has published more than 40 studies in peer-reviewed journals and serves as an editorial board member or ad hoc reviewer. Ladies and gentlemen, students, and all participants, let's welcome Professor Silky Lee. time is yours, Professor. Let's give him another big applause.
Thank you very much, Professor Melda. May I share my screen?
Sure.
Okay. I think I almost got this.
Yes, the screen is on now, Professor.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, everyone, for welcoming me to this great occasion. I think this is wonderful, actually. I wish we could do something like this for our master's students as well. But first of all, I would like to say I'm very honored and privileged to speak in today's public lecture. And I love how you framed it as well. Also, very nice to see you, Professor Melda. Good to see you, an old friend.
Good to see you too, Prof. Soki.
Thank you, thank you. So as Professor Melda just mentioned, and by the way, very nice to meet you, the new batch and the senior batch, I guess. I am an academic. I am a professor at Sejong University. Now, I'm not sure if anyone knows Sejong University, but it's in Seoul, South Korea. And we have many similarities with UPH. So we're a Christian university. We are also the leading educational institution in tourism in our country, as HBU or UPH is. So what I'm going to talk about today is going to be just some of the work that I did, and I know this is a master's class, with the Korea Tourism Organization on hotels and tourist accommodations for, I guess, now 4 years. So we've been commissioned research by the Korea Tourism Organization as the research center, and that's my lab, Tourism Industry Data Analytics Lab, to collect data on tourist accommodations using online travel agencies, booking platforms. And that has sort of, benefited us in the sense that when we have these events, when we say we have shocks in the market, then we always want to know what happened to the market, and we want to find out what's going to be the change. And if you have been collecting data for a considerable time, then it's fairly easy to compare that, the past data, with the post or ex-post data that is with respect to the event. So considering that, I thought that I could share with you some of the results for Korea, not for Indonesia, sorry. And but still try to figure out how to expect or anticipate what's going to be some of the permanent changes that are coming to the industry. So, okay, I like the writing, but I can't read it. So my name is Silgi. I know I look a bit different from this photo. It's been a few years, and also right now I am in Busan. I live in Seoul, but I'm here on a business trip. Right, as a matter of fact, I'm in a hotel room right now, and you see my lighting isn't optimized. When I teach, I have better lighting in my office. But yeah, I have a few hats in my university, but today I'm going to be speaking as the director of Tidal. So we do research projects for international organizations as well as Korean government. And this time I will be sharing with you what we have done for the Korean government for some time, and try to utilize the data to share with you some of the expectations or educated guesses of the researchers in our lab. One interesting thing, I work for the university that I graduated from, so I'm also an alumni of Sejong University. I'm not sure if you are looking forward to, I think graduate students are also eligible to apply for exchange programs. I have great relationship with UPH. As a matter of fact, I have been on near campus as well quite a few years ago. Yeah, so when this situation goes away, I'm pretty sure we can invite you. I can visit you and so forth. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about today, broadly speaking, first about some of the trends in Korea that I would like to share with you, and that probably applies to anywhere as well in the world, and the data that I analyzed, about the data and what the results are, how we analyze data, some of the outlook that I would like to just throw out there. No, I guess, guess where prediction is always right, but it's, I think, still important that we try to predict what's going to happen, especially in these days. Okay, so this is the international tourism industry in Korea as of end of May 2020. As you can see here, the first case in Korea was in January 20th. Okay, so that was the first publicized case. I think that was a lady from, I think, somewhere in Daegu. I'm not sure if you know how bad Daegu was, but after she was confirmed, then things started breaking out, and monthly arrivals and departures. Usually, Korea is very import oriented. If you say about the tourism industry, so we have much more people traveling outside Korea than coming to Korea. So just about twice. And before, we anticipated about 500,000 arrivals per month and just about 1 million per month of departures. Now, that is down to about 30,000. I'm pretty sure none of these 30,000 people are, let's say, tourists. Okay, they're probably here on a business mission or government employees, maybe diplomatic missions, but I don't think anyone who's traveling at this point is necessarily a tourist, because we need to have the 2-week quarantine. So if you want to somehow travel, then you have to go through the 2 weeks of quarantine process before you go anywhere. So I don't think that's, that makes sense. Okay, so from this chart, you see that you have literally no demand for tourism, and many people in Korea are asking or wondering if there's going to be demand when this is over. So right now, tourism is regulated. If there's no regulation, is there demand, or is there potential for tourism activities once this goes away? And there has been some surveys done by the Korean government. This is the KCTI, Korea Cultural and Tourism Institute. They asked people if they are willing to travel, and I'm sorry, this is in Korean, but they asked people, and people said that they want to travel when the situation is over, so more than half of the people. And so this is, I guess, temporary reduction in demand. But they also say that 67% of the respondents will travel safely, meaning that they will probably not travel the same way that they have been doing for the last, 20 years. So I think there's going to be some permanent changes to how people travel and travel behavior, we so say. And the Expedia survey for the Korean Expedia, they ask Korean people how you will travel, and people respond like this. So they want to travel actually off season. And this is quite unusual for Koreans because, This is quite unusual for Koreans because Koreans are all about peak season. You want to be the one who travels during July or August, not maybe September or October, because everybody goes on vacation that time. And when you come back, you talk about it, you want to brag, maybe you want to share that you have been somewhere exotic. Now people don't want that anymore. So safety is somewhat of an issue, and it no longer seems very intelligible to travel when everybody else is traveling, right? Hygiene, sanitation, seclusion, 52.3% say that the most important attribute of a tourist accommodation would be hygiene and sanitation. So price, we are all about value here in Korea, but now no longer the biggest, let's say, factor in decision making. Now it's the second biggest, which is still high, I think, but you see my point. 25% actually now prefer independent unit or house rentals. So hotels still there, but many people now think that it's probably good to just get an individual unit where you don't have to come across so many people in common areas. minimizing travel distance, they look for somewhere close. Usually before, we look for somewhere far, just to make the point that we had a long vacation, and short duration, so we don't want to stay that long. Less populated small and medium cities are now preferred to big cities like Busan. I'm in Busan right now, so I sort of feel the risk here. And mostly just stay inside hotels and resorts. So actually, Korean hotels now just started, providing, I think, pretty much all of their restaurant menus and bar menus for room service, because people don't want to go to the restaurant physically. Even if they do, they have to wear a mask, which sort of ruins the experience. So, and nature-based and food tourism is gaining popularity, and I think that is probably common everywhere. So, Korean society is now facing a very big trend. This is called untact, or the opposite of contact, and new normal, which is probably fueled by the fourth industrial revolution as well as technology development. So we right now have various services that are actually being commended for minimizing the contact points, right? Before, service was absolutely no doubt, no argument, no debate. Absolutely better when you had more contact with a person, right? Service personnel, human resource. Now, right now, I think this is partly temporary, but it is better if you can do anything without actually physically contacting the service personnel. Maybe you can contact using your mobile, maybe you can use internet, maybe you can do like virtual stuff. But if you have the option of not contacting people for any service, then it is actually seen as a virtue at this point. So recent performance, I'm pretty sure you all know this, but Amazon, Target, Walmart, these are companies that have actually, physical stores, huge ones, but they also provide delivery service nowadays, and I think they've been doing quite well. You get my point. So this is pretty much what's going to be required in a few years in Korea. So when you get into the hotel, you use more kiosk devices, digital technology, how to initiate service. And the roles of service personnel is right now changing. So you don't really see people doing mechanical, repetitive work that also involves physical contact. Rather, now you see people trying to solve problems. So they become concierges in their own right if you work for a hotel. Platforms are used more and more in order to generate sales. OTA booking, check-in, check-out. Usually, Korean hotels do not require you to face a guest service agent or a front desk clerk when you're going through this process nowadays, because it's important to have a contact option, and room service delivery and bar menus and so forth. So what I'm trying to say here is that digital transformation is happening really quickly, fueled by COVID situation, and also you see more and more services being digitized. But what I'm trying to say here is that we still need service personnel, right? Because there are people who want it, there are people who need it, and there are also people required to oversee the entire process. So in a positive outlook, we see the roles of service personnel changing in hotels, not necessarily replaced by the devices. Okay, a couple examples. You already have these hotels that have implemented such process. I'm pretty sure you know Alibaba, the Chinese company firm. They have a Flyzoo hotel, which embraces this digitized services in all stages, including booking, check-in, rooms, facilities. They also have facial recognition and robots delivering room services to their rooms, so that you have minimal contact, not because you want to have minimal contact everywhere, but it's important that you have the option to use that if you want to. Okay. Korea also has a hotel firm called Ambassador Hotel Group, they have a Novotel that started just implementing, which is called the iStay solution. So they also provide a comprehensive digitized smart hotel solution service powered by ICT, AI, and other technology. But the start for this project for Ambassador, and I still talk with them closely, was because they wanted to collect more data. They actually implemented this program because they thought that this would be a fantastic way to collect, use, and analyze and try to create value from data. Now, what happened is because of the current situation, this is quite favored by the guests because anything you see here automatically leads to non-contact options for the guests, and also the same time, generates data. So that is the Korean example. So all in all, I think the current trend is that we have a temporary reduction for the most part of international and local tourism demand. I'm pretty sure that's common everywhere, except for I don't know, there might be some islands that might not have such a dramatic breakout. Maybe Taiwan is one, but still there are some. And the situation is evolving every day. So we cannot say any country is specifically safer than the others. And because tourism demand would likely come back, and Dean Deanna mentioned that in her speech, and I agree too. But there's going to be some changes that are permanent. I think that is the key. So some things come back, tourist demand comes back, but as a hotel researcher, I'm more focused on how we should prepare for, let's say, the time where this goes away and people start traveling again, but their needs have changed, right? So we need to look into that. By the way, so I just felt awkward to say just anything and everything about this presentation. So I think this is a good time to be in a graduate program, right? Because if the market condition is not good, usually people come back to school because that's a smart investment. And FYI, we actually had, and this rarely happens at Sejong University, but we actually had insufficient number of slots to admit graduate students, so we had to just turn down applications, and yeah, it's crazy, right? So I think you have made a smart move, and I think your timing for graduate education and your investment, so to say, is quite appropriate. Good job, good decision making on your part. Okay, so now let me share with you some data and result of data analysis. Korean font. So purpose of this study, as I said a little bit in the start of my presentation, Tourism Industry Data Analytics Lab has been working for the KTO. So they funded our research for the last 4 years to work on reviewing Korean tourist accommodation, because they want to know if Korean hotels and motels and guest houses, are they competitive? Are they comparable to the ones in Hong Kong, Macau, Jakarta, Bali? Actually, you have very nice hotels. So we're not in that group. I think we're more into competition with Eastern Chinese cities and Hong Kong, Macau, SAR, and so forth. And so we've been, scraping data from online travel agencies for now about 4 years. And we use that data to assess if there's any need to improve accommodation quality for specific hotels, which may be certified by the Korean government, or see if there's any cities or regions that lack significantly in providing tourist accommodation, or whether there's any problem, in general. So we have sort of like a detection system going on using online data, and the KTO likes this because now they have efficiency in their system. Before, they had to send out people to maybe Jeju Island or a remote place to monitor. Now, what they do is they just look at our report and see if they should travel to Jeju or not, because there's no problem. So that's what we do as a lab. We do other things too, but I think that is probably one of the major tasks. And we have been collecting data and the reviews and ratings and room rates. I'm not sure if you are aware of the concept of relational databases, but these all have different observation units. Okay, so reviews, observation units are, reviewers, who are the guests that have stayed in the hotel. Ratings, these are for hotels. Room rates, these are for rooms. Okay, so one hotel might have one rating, but a lot of reviews, and probably like 50 different room rates given day, right? Because they have different conditions of booking. So by analyzing these data, we want to see if there's any difference in topics discussed before and after the coronavirus, and also how the room rate is formed. And by looking at room rate, we can actually get a lot of information, because room rate is a proxy for willingness to pay. So if we can break it down to different parts, then we know how people have changed in their willingness to pay, or the value they attach to some of these attributes. So first method used is called LDA, latent dirichlet allocation. And I'm not sure if you are familiar with the unstructured data, which is mostly text data. Nowadays, they try to analyze image data as well. But LDA is not the only topic modeling method, and this is a stochastic and conditional probability model. Long story short, I'm not sure if you learned factor analysis yet, but this analysis would be the analog of factor analysis, but factor analysis, we use Likert type scale questions, right? So we use numbers, but this one, we don't use numbers, we just use text data. And the result is that you see here, these groups, you come up with topics and not factors, okay? So by looking at a bunch of text data, looking at, paragraphs, pages and pages of text data, we want to know what they're actually trying to say, because there is underlying topic for those lengthy words and words of things. So for this, we actually used data between November 2007 and May 2020, okay? And we just use one OTA data. Actually, we have more than one OTA for data collection, but if there's too much data, the computer starts sort of breaking down, because we don't have a supercomputer. We can't afford it yet. So we just use the English reviews, because different language means different structure, and it's not easy to merge different languages at this point of, let's say, analytic technique used. So as you can see here, we see about 10 topics, and I, with my co-researcher, his name is Dr. Ian Sutherland, maybe he would have the pleasure of meeting you online sometime. So we have about 10, and as you can come across in any factor analysis, some factors are quite obvious, but some factors are not so obvious. So we see here atmospherics, room problems, value, facility quality, service quality, reception, accessibility, neighborhood amenities, and comfort. Now, I think most of the topics you would agree, but maybe here, comfort, it includes like location, comfortable, clean, excellent, convenient, spacious, worthy, maybe a bit mixed, right? Not so straightforward, or something that is, working inside the black box. So I will just, throw it out there. We're mentioned that comfort is a bit tricky. Okay, so what this result means is that people, when they write reviews about a tourist accommodation, they would actually be talking about one of these things, okay? And the reason they talk about one of these things is because, obviously, they would probably want to know, or other people would want to know, and they would like to share about these attributes of the hotels, okay? So, sorry, yeah, some formatting issue, I think. So prominence here refers to the probability of topic occurring, or what proportion is going to be mentioned, or these topics will be mentioned within their reviews. And we look at the pre and post difference, okay? If you see here, there are significant differences in atmospherics, facility quality, amenities, and comfort, okay? So what this is saying is that after coronavirus, people have been placing more weight on certain topics and reducing their weight on the other topics, which they believe is not as necessary, okay? We just look at the difference using a t-test. This is prominence, okay? So atmospherics, why it is more important. As you can see, there's an increase in importance. If you go back and look at the atmospherics, you see owner, people, atmosphere, home, cozy. So I think we try to interpret this in Korean way, and sometimes Koreans are quite concerned with the other people that are staying in the same place that you are. And as you may well know, coronavirus is transmitted by people. So you sort of want to know or are also concerned with the other people that are staying in the same place as you, right? So that sort of makes sense. Facility quality, number 4. If you see here, hotel, expensive, boutique, interior. Now, not to say that people are going to the pool these days, but usually if you have, good facility, then the sanitary conditions and standards are also very high. So if you don't have other, let's say, topics that are strongly associated with cleanliness or hygiene and sanitation, then I believe that this would probably replace that. So more on that. Amenities and comfort, if you go back. Comfort, I will not try to attempt to interpret this one because it's a bit tricky. Amenities, breakfast, coffee, water, basic amenity, and stuff. So Koreans are all about freebies. We like freebies and whatchamacallit, the frills, right? Frills. So we love frills. We expect maybe I don't know, like really nice coffee, the branded ones in hotels. At the same time, we want bath gowns, slippers, and free breakfast. And so people were, craving these amenities. Now look what happened. No longer as important, right? So people started caring less about these freebies, but now they focus more on the facility and the atmosphere. Comfort, I think this is weird because it has clean and at the same time maintain, sparkle, something that doesn't nicely converge into one topic. So I'm just gonna pass. But the topics that didn't have significant difference before and after: room problems, value, service quality, reception, accessibility. Not necessarily less, right? Less. So something that you might want to consider because it's still being valued. There's no permanent change in that, but maybe there is some change on how they value. Okay, so that's where we get into the quantitative analysis. But before that, let me just illustrate what's happening to the topics that we model, right? So this is the importance of topic, as you see here. There has been ups and downs, maybe a seasonality of topics, right? That can also happen because in certain seasons, you talk about this more. Now, the proportion right here, breakpoint around February 20, right? It just spikes up. And this is the time where there was a super spreader. I'm not sure if you heard about that person, but that person did not have any symptoms, was traveling for, I think, about 10 days within Korea, like everywhere, was not tested, and I think went to all these different kinds of places that he could possibly affect the most number of people. So the Korean government is actually thinking about punishing this person by making him pay for all the medical bills, because we usually are just covered by the government, but that's another story. Sorry for deviating. Yeah, so right after that, there has been a sharp spike. Facility, atmospherics. As you can see, we have been witnessing a, let's say, consistent decrease over time, but now then it's back up again, right? Trend reversed. Just about the time where the first case of coronavirus was reported on the news. So as you can see, after that, quite formidable reversing of the trend. And amenities, so freebies, right? Coffee, free breakfast, free movies, maybe Netflix. I think the hotels are also giving free Netflix at this point in Korea. Now you see more and more. And I think around last summer, hotel owners and managers were, I heard them, I just eavesdropped, were discussing about how much they have to spend to satisfy the customers, because everything's a competition and they just keep giving more and more amenities. And people like that. So they talk more and more about it. But now I think not too many people talk about amenities, right? First comes sanitation, cleanliness. Yeah, coffee, breakfast, nice, but not really important, right? Okay. Comfort, as you can see, the topic is quite mixed. I think it's a mixture of some, maybe multiple subtopics. So as you can see here, the trend is not so predictable, but maybe in, I think, future research, we will try to split this into two different topics, and maybe we see a clearer result. But okay, so summarizing up to this point, you see that traveling patterns have changed, right? And some of that, I think, might be permanent. Some of that might not be permanent. And also the people's, let's say, perspective on accommodation, tourist accommodation, have changed. Some things they still value, some things they value more, like the atmosphere, facility. Some things they value less, which is like all these little things that you give for free, complimentary, when you check into the hotel. Now, I think the most important implication for industry, though, although I'm an academic, is that whether people are willing to pay for that and whether there's a market for this new product. If they are thinking about, better hygiene and sanitation, then they should be able to pay more for that so that there could be a market for this product. So we come to sort of the major, let's say, findings of my talk, which is the OTA data and the room rate data. So for the 1,225 tourist accommodations in Korea, we collected more data than this, actually, but we just used the same time frame before and after, just about 120 days, because that's how you do an event study, right? We compared time window that has the same interval between, before and after Corona. So that would be about 325,000 observations, which is a panel data. N here means number of hotels. T here means number of days, right? So about 133 days before and after. And average daily rate decreased from 62 to 52. So just throwing it out there, mean difference is going to be like that. Now, when I tell this to some of the people in the government, they say, it's not so bad. Well, that's not the case, because the sample is actually highly represented by small operations. So changes of the 5-star hotels, which might have like average room rate of $300, they are not well represented here. That's the first thing. And actually, if you're in Korea, the room rate cannot be lower than, I think, 50. So 52 is like the bare minimum. After that, you can't even cover the variable cost. And you probably learned accounting already. So yeah, you see what I mean. So this is like sort of the rock bottom, so to say, for most hotels. The way we analyze the room rate, we use what is called a spatial panel fixed effects model. breaking down this, first, we use a spatial model because hotel room rates are a function of competition, and that competition is usually spatial, meaning that ones that are closer to you would compete more than ones that are far from you. Simple, right? Because hotels are bounded by location. So that's where the spatial comes from. Two-way fixed effects. Usually there's unique factors that are attributed to the hotel or time. So we partial out these, control for these so that these do not affect the results. And the rest is called a hedonic pricing model. I'm not sure if you're into real estate, but this is how you construct a real estate price index. So you use a number of attributes and see how they affect the price of the hotel. So this is the description is what that means. So in the simplest sense, what the model I'm using is trying to use OTA data to model price, but then I control for other factors and also account for the fact that hotel prices are something that is a product of competition. Okay, we account for that in the model. So here is the result of t-test. This is before the spatial econometric model. Now the change is 62. Oh, sorry, very sorry. This is number of stars in the OTA. So everything, no star, 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, and 5 star. Okay, so the mean difference is about 10, but as you can see, if you go to 5-star hotels, it's about 25. So big dip, especially considering that we're comparing 2 different seasons. And usually in Korea, April and May are sort of peak seasons, still better than like December. Another difference or change I'd like to note is that before we had 1, 2, and 3-star hotels sort of forming one group with the no-star group, right? So this is about $50 a night, not so expensive, affordable accommodation like inns, right? And 4-star hotels were quite above that. So we had a different tier here and here. 5-star hotels way above that. Now, after Corona, we see that 4-star hotels have sort of tapped into this market. So they now discount significantly more than they used to, and they are actually competing with the 3-star hotels. And 3-star hotels are also competing with 2-star hotels. So if you think about it, now we have 5-star hotels remaining who are not as fiercely competing within the market, but something that we don't know, right? So we hope that this sort of these barriers between the different tiers still remain, but who knows? This is up to May, by the way, May of this year. Okay, so descriptive statistics, I don't think I need to explain these in details. This is just something you report before you do a formal analysis. So I think this is the most important slide of the day. So rho here is what is called a spatial competition parameter. Okay, so this has the parameter space of 0 to absolute value of 1, and any positive value would mean price competition. Negative, quite difficult to interpret. So price competition is significant, and between 0 and 1, because I do this analysis every now and then with my lab members, I think last year we seen about 0.8. I'm sorry, 0.08. So what that means, the strength of price competition after Corona has increased to about, or doubled, right? Twofold. So the price competition has doubled. It actually is consistent with the results that you see, because if 4-star hotels start to compete with 3-star hotels with price, I think it's just terrible. Okay, so that's one notable aspect. So this is before Corona. Before Corona, the most important factor that contributes to price was cleanliness, followed by service, right? Service. Now, after Corona, importance of cleanliness has increased, still increased. Comfort decreased here too. I don't know why people are against comfort. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but still, that's the result. Now, service has decreased significantly. Now, if you think about this, service here, or traditionally in OTA rating, just meant human contact service, right? I think this is probably temporary. I don't think this is permanent, but what this is meaning is that as for now, we are not very concerned with human service because of the situation temporarily. In the future, we will probably start to, go back to valuing human service, but you still have to have the non-contact option, right? That's a part of the service. That's a part of the service portfolio that you must have in your operation, considering that people are all about cleanliness, and this is probably due to the reason that they don't want to be exposed to any risk with infection. Okay, minor changes in location, right? Location and value here. So value dropped more, which is people care. Actually, they still care, but yeah, for the same value, you would have to discount less because people's willingness to pay was has been decreased. Facilities, because we have cleanliness as a different attribute here, we don't have any significant difference. Now, I think it is actually time for the OTAs to revise their, and I've been talking about this last week with other professors too, revise their attributes, because traditionally these worked, but after we start to see different meanings for cleanliness, location. Now people in Korea are super, crazy about cleanliness. They start looking into these areas. Like if you check into a hotel, you look under your bed and, the common areas, you see if they're swiped. And so probably more emphasis on some attributes and things like location. Now for Koreans, congested cities and areas are no longer a good location. We don't think that is somehow any good, at least at this point. So maybe a remote area could still be a nice location, so long as it has parking and yeah. So a little bit of let's say outdated measure of service quality or the product quality at this point. So yeah, those are the major results I wanted to share with you. Some things that I just wanted to re-highlight because I think it's important, at least for the Korean hotel industry. Now, I've been talking with hotel managers. I know how difficult that it is to invest at this point, but I think it has gotten to a point where even after Corona, there's going to be a permanent trend change where we need to have untagged. I'm not sure if that's a Korean or a worldwide term, but no contact and low contact service. Okay, that should be an option for any, even if you don't use it, right? Like hair dryers. I never use hair dryers in my hotel rooms, but it's always there because it has to be there. This doesn't mean elimination of contact service, but even the smaller ones, they have to invest in low contact and or no contact service. Yeah, strangely, atmospherics and other topics change in their importance. I guess cleanliness is quite obvious, but we also see some preferences changing, and I think some of that is also permanent. I think it's good for you, actually, for your Indonesian tourism industry, that you have many units that are independent. Now, Koreans have to pay probably about $1,000 to get into one of those units in Korea because we have small land, and usually you have to pay for, I guess, 10 rooms if you want to use that much space. This is actually quite important, I think. Now, actually, some independent unit villa hotels are being developed in Korea, even though the market is bad, because we know that people have huge willingness to pay. For those hotels that are quite, packed, congested within the city, not so, let's say, favored at this point. and more emphasis in facility and cleanliness. So basics are important. Less on contact service and amenities. I think contact service at this point, you could give it a little break because, you know, if you try to engage customers, usually not received very well by everyone. And amenities, I think right now no one really cares. So what I am suggesting actually to the association, the hotel association, is that they develop a program. They just cut all the amenities because people don't care, and just develop a guideline which they can abide by about how to clean the room, how to sanitize everything, and how to maintain the common area, because that is probably something that would at least motivate the people to stay rather than giving them, let's say, free wine. I don't think that is going to cut the deal at this point. So as you can see, this is still an ongoing research because we see new situations every day still now today. And I would love to, maybe not in this setting, share with you some of the revised results when we have new updates in September. So by then we finish collecting the data and do the analysis again for the third quarter. But yeah, I hope that has somehow motivated you in any way to start looking into changes in the hotel industry. So thank you very much. That is all for my presentation.
Thank you so much, Professor Sulki. Let's give him a big applause, please, everyone. Your virtual applause, or we can give a virtual applause for Professor Sulki. Well, Professor Sulki, thank you so much for sharing your updates on the ongoing research. Wow, it has been 4 years for your research, right, Professor Sulki?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
On analysis of OTA online travel agent data. So it is interesting on the findings that you got regarding the value, what people now value most in traveling and value less before and after the coronavirus. And eventually now people are more valuing in cleanliness, in facility quality, and also in the location, and also if it's bothering them if they stay with other people staying at the same premises, which is now everybody like suspecting everyone, feeling if we are in one room and then we suspect whether this person, a sneeze can also make that
terrible. Yes.
terrible suspect. So that's right. And we find it very interesting that you have shared your ongoing research. So what dramatic changes in the tourism behavior these days after the pandemic will be more value on the health and safety. And also in the era of Internet of Things, where service will be more digitized, it makes us in the hospitality industry have to overcome those changes and make sure that contactless services could also reach the same quality as we give them direct services. And that's really, really interesting. Okay, so I can see here that many participants already cannot wait to raise questions to you. So I would like to ask the committee for the questions that we have gathered from this session, the Q&A session. Yes, I will read the question for Professor Sulki, and after that, Professor Sulki might straight away answer. Yeah.
Sure.
The first one comes from Ripno from Universitas Pendidikan Ganesha. The question is, what are the challenges in tourism industry post COVID-19 pandemic, and will there be a dramatic changes in regulation even after the COVID-19 vaccines have been found?
I think it's a very good question. Obviously, I cannot answer right away immediately. I think there are quite a few challenges that people cite, including the airlines. They're all having a very difficult time, and airline staffs. Relating to that, I think part of, or I think the most important challenge, especially for Korea, is that people, good people, and I mean human resources, are changing their jobs or career, and at the same time, we have people who are less interested in tourism than before, and we need good talent. But somehow, I think after Corona, I think it might be a little more difficult to convince these people that you might have a very good or fantastic career in tourism, and I really believe that. But we've had some incidences regarding viruses, Corona, before that, MERS, SARS, political situations, and these somehow lead the Korean, let's say, professionals in the early stages of their career to think that maybe there is a better world out there than tourism, which I don't think is, but yeah.
Agree.
And dramatic changes in regulation. I don't think there's going to be so dramatic changes in regulation, but definitely something related to, let's say, filtering of a potential. I'm not sure how to say this, but people with the virus, right? So the Korean government has been talking about reinitiating with some countries that have relatively less impact, but that also involves a new system where you can effectively at least reduce the risk to a minimal level where it's okay to, just the same thing as Korean people traveling within the country. So yeah, definitely there's going to be something with the health and quarantine issue, but not so dramatic, I hope. But you never know, right?
Yeah, it is because in Indonesia, perhaps we are practicing something that we are not used to it. For the South Korea, wearing masks daily is not an issue because I saw people wearing masks in public transportation and people wearing masks if they're not feeling well or they have a cough or flu. But here we are practicing something that is not so common in Indonesia. And perhaps that will create a dramatic changes in the regulation. Our government even have to make some like punishment, because if people don't wear masks in public area, they will get fined for it. And I think we're just starting to enter the new normal habits. So it will be very different with Korea, of course, in the advancement of everything, in the technology, of course, and also the awareness of health and safety. Thank you so much for the first question, Professor Soki. Let's proceed with second question.
Okay.
Yes. Can we proceed with the second question, please, the committee? All right. This is from Hansen from Undiksa University. Question: what can you suggest to the hotelier students in relation with the future competition during and after the pandemic? Thank you. So you have so many students now from all over Indonesia, Professor Soki.
Wow. I am very excited to get a question from another institution. Yeah. I guess there is concern for my students as well about the stability of jobs, as well as competition for let's say lucrative positions within a hotel, which they believe is likely to reduce. Personally, I don't think so, because and this might be quite a subjective opinion as well, but industry, let's say, returns usually dictate the compensation for the employees in that industry, and talents are usually more valued in an industry that is more mature and more professional. Now, we're going through a stage where we change the services and how we do things. We probably may need not as many people, but I think industry returns are probably going to go higher, and definitely, because now we started paying, I think, average of $500 a night per night this summer season. Although it's not for every hotel, it's for hotels that are ready. And before it was like $200, and people thought that that was expensive. But now, because if you're traveling, you need to make sure you get into a good hotel, people start paying that money. And if that becomes, sort of the industry norm with regard to product quality, I don't think they have any issue, maybe, compensating good people, talents, I think twice what they do now. So there is a good career. I know this comes at a very odd time, and I sort of feel strange to say this, but right now I think we need to start preparing for the post-corona industry, and there is, I think, a very good career in tourism.
Thank you, Professor Sulki. So as long as people love to travel, love to see other places, tourism will not die, right? And the hotelier students should not feel any worries about that, right? We are hibernating now.
Yeah, especially if they have year and more to graduate. If you're graduating soon, you might have to wait a little bit, but it's going to come around, and you have a great start to your career.
All right. Thank you so much, Professor Sulki. Do we still have time for the third question from the committee? Okay, one more last question.
Okay.
All right, this is from Maya from Universitas Pasundan, another university, Professor Sulki.
Wow.
So the question is, how did the Korean government facilitate the tourism industry during COVID-19 towards the tourism industry, which could be said to be new normal, and what was the government's contribution to restoring tourism in Korea?
Right. Wow. Another good question from yet another institution. So I think there are two approaches to how the Korean government deals with the issue. One is for things that they think are temporary, like temporary loss of demand, people just don't travel whatsoever. The Korean government is actually initiating some programs like subsidies for employee wages. They also provide vouchers so that people can travel and use that voucher to book a room. The same thing with restaurants. They give Korean people vouchers so they can eat in these restaurants that are regulated. That's one thing, and that's temporary because that you can't do anything about. The other one, with regard to permanent changes, they are actually soliciting applications for R&D programs, also providing subsidies to universities and research institutes to develop a new program or program that addresses the new skill sets that are required by the employees after this is over. So, and they think that investment is necessary to be made by the private sector, but I think they are also coming up with a program to, like a financing program to help with that as well. So, temporary measures are something that should be temporary in nature. Permanent changes addressed by education and, let's say, stimulating the private sector, to summarize.
Thank you so much, Professor Sulki.
Thank you.
Well, since the time is up, I would like to invite Dean Dina. Are you there, Dean Dina? Dean Dina, are you there? Yeah, we would like to present the certificate of appreciation to Professor Sulki for sparing his time, sharing about his knowledge and also research. And I would like to invite Ma'am Dina.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, Ma'am Dina, where are you? We have like an internet issues problem.
That's okay. certificate looks beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
You're there, Ma'am Dina. Please test your mic. Test your connection. It's red. The bar.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Okay. Can you hear me, Bu Ames?
Yes, I can hear you
Okay.
now. All right. So the certificate presentation.
Okay, so Professor Sukili, it is really an honor to have you in our public lecture for our Master of Tourism program.
Yeah, the internet connection is unstable.
I understand.
Ma'am Dina.
Well, the honor is all mine. Thank you very much.
Yes, I'm here. Okay.
Yeah, the internet connection is unstable. You turn the bar turned red again, but it's okay. Professor Sulki has already received the appreciation. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause to Professor Sulki Lee. Thank you, Professor Sulki.
Okay.
Thank you, Indiana.
So please receive the certificate of appreciation. Thank you, Professor Zulki. I'm very sorry the internet connection is not stable, but we really appreciate your sharing this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope you can still stay with us because next.
Actually, I need to attend the meeting,
All
so
right.
I wish I could,
it's all right.
but
It's all
yes.
right. Okay, take your time, Professor Sulki. Thank you so
Bye
much.
bye.
Bye. All right, our next speaker. There are two speakers from Bali. Yes, as we all know, Bali is our barometer for tourism measures. Yeah, and we would like to invite the second speaker, Bapak Ardita. Let's give him a big applause for Bapak Ardita. Are you there, Pak Ardita?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes.
Om Swastiastu.
Om Swastiastu, Pak Ardita. How are you?
First, I would like to thank for Dr. Dina and Dr. Imelda to invite me this event. It's a very good event, very good communication and sharing knowledge.
Students, yes.
So,
public lecture. It's a public lecture, Pak.
Yeah, it's a public lecture. So, what is Mr. Professor Kili said is a very good presentation and very good survey, I think. So Indonesia maybe must have survey like that. So very details. It's very good.
Yeah.
I hope
Ongoing
from
survey,
the
ya,
University Harapan can make like that.
Ya, kita kerjasama ya, Pak. So before Pak Ardita, mohon izin, before we start your presentation, may I explain and read about your CV?
Yeah, please.
All right. Yeah, Bapak I Gusti Ngurah Ardita. Currently, he is the Managing Director of ITDC Nusa Dua Bali. Pak Ardita was the General Manager, was also the General Manager at Lombok International Airport, and also the General Manager for I Gusti Ngurah Rai International Airport in Bali. So in 2017, he received awards from West Sumbawa region as the Penggerak Inovasi Promosi Pariwisata Kabupaten Sumbawa Barat. And he is now the Managing Director of ITDC Nusa Dua Bali. And under his leadership, recently, ITDC received the Indonesia Sustainable Tourism Certification in 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give an applause for Pak Ardita. Pak Ardita,
thank you.
The stage is yours, Pak. We are
okay, thank you, Bu.
here for your sharing.
Thank you, Bu Imelda, for your information about me. So, please, sorry, I want to share my presentation from here.
All right.
Yeah. I think it's just a little bit information to completely what Professor so keenly says, because it's a very detailed. Now we start for. It just gives a little bit information from Bali. I think Dr. Emeda is already now about Bali. Every day I think already monitor about Bali.
Yes,
So I'm waiting for you in Bali.
Yeah, my favorite place, Pak.
Yeah, next. I want to talk about Indonesian Tourism Development Corporation. Let's say this ITDC. This is state-owned enterprise. The main business is destination owner, and then productive asset investor, utilities provider, and then destination management. Now, for the destination owner, we are managed in the Nusa Dua Bali, and the other is in the Lombok in the Mandalika. And now, for the destination management, we prepare for Bakahuni Lampung, Tonomori Flores, and Singasari Malang. This is the main business of the ITDC until now. It is a condition of the Nusa Dua area. We have 350 hectare sites. This is our facility. 4-kilometer beach front. This is where the white sands. And we have 5,175 rooms in the area. And all the facility already maintained. And then we have one golf course with 18 holes. And we have 5,000 square meter peninsula island. So peninsula island is one island we use for the activities. For example, Nusa Dua Fiesta and the other activities. Next. So we start from information about foreign tourist arrival in January and December 2019 period. Why we start from here? I want to know about a condition in last year and in this year in 2020. So the arrival of foreign tourists in 2019 is reached 6,298,852. It's increase of 3% from 2018, and domestic tourists reached 10 million people come to Bali. This is data from the airport, Ngurah Rai International Airport. And overview of the current condition in 2020, starting in January, I think Professor So Kenley already said, the condition of tourism is still good in Bali. But starting from February 5, tourism began to decline with the closing of flight from and to China due to COVID-19 reason. This is, I think, this is bad for condition, especially for the tourism business. Next. As we know, starting March 2020, COVID-19 has spread throughout the world. This condition, including Indonesia, and this condition has a very impact on tourism industry. And the COVID-19 pandemic has generated global shock. The global shock and the various issues such as health issue, is hoax, termination of employment, a decline of economic growth, and the various other issues have developed. So this condition until now is still, which means in media, social, and everything for more political issue and everything. This, I think, step by step we must clean that to maintain the tourism industry. The first is developing because there is no divine treatment for COVID-19. Now we are now already, the government already makes a communication agreement with China about the vaccine for handling this COVID-19. I hope this is a good issue, a good information, and can clear for COVID-19 issue. So this condition can be categorized as VUCA. I think Bu Doctor can explain about the VUCA condition is volatility, uncertainty, conflicting, and ambiguity. And of course, this condition is, I said, is a global disruption. Like survey Professor So Kinley, now we change everyone, you must use the mask. This disruption, facing hand sanitizer, we must use hand sanitizer, and then physical distancing. This is must disrupt. So, in that condition, it's a very impact for the tourism industry. Next. So, it's what now we are positioned in digitalization. The COVID-19 pandemic encouraged globalization toward the globalization. But before, all countries said the globalization concept, but now already changed from globalization toward the deglobalization and accelerated the digital process like now. Before the process, teaching and learning, face by face, but now we use the digitalization. Digitalization has become the part of choice for conducting meeting, business, teaching and learning process and the other activities. One of the challenges for tourist industry is with the development of the digitalization pattern is the implementation of MICE, which has been one of the main things of the tourism business. So the question is how the MICE business, it is digitalization can change the MICE, or we make the new system for MICE with the digitalization. I think that MICE activities that are carried out virtual, now are to comply with the COVID-19 health. When the COVID-19 pandemic has been handled, MICE activity with direct meeting will be still applying, which health protocol will be implemented again. This concept, now we are in the Nusa Dua, we were currently being prepared. Tomorrow, we check with our facility to make sure to make a standard operating procedure for MICE activity. As it has been started, the tourism activity next. It is been started, the tourist activity have now changed due to COVID-19 pandemic. So in the future, change in is a governance of the tourist sector are needed. Such as tourism destination management. Three important things related to tourist destination management are standard operating procedure operation and disaster readiness, increasing the readiness and protection of tourists, employee, and the community against the threat of a disaster or epidemic. And this canvas is integrated communication is very important now. The important to cooperation of all stakeholders in carrying out the economic development, such as in local, national, and regional scale. And the last is the leadership. It takes a leader who is able to make decisions and is committed to creating a safe destination, like what we do now in the Nusa Dua. We prepare and concern to implemented the standard operating procedure aligned with the protocol COVID-19. For example, in the presentation, we already talked all the people surround the Nusa Dua area, because now we changed a little bit condition, because we must make sure the tourism about handle the COVID-19 for tourism. Next. So what we do, the Nusa Dua normal in progress. We have three aspects. This is about subject, object, and process. Subject, we talk and prepare and handle the guest responsibilities, then employee responsibilities, and third party. About subject, make sure the clean procedure, like the disinfectant and tool and liquid and standard of cleaning. And the process, the crowd management, we're handling the crowd management, queue and entrance management, and then emergency management. Because as you know, in Nusa Dua, we have one hospitality with international standard. We work with good communication. We have standard operating procedure to handling the emergency management, and of course, quality control and insurance. Dr. Emeda already talked. The Nusa Dua already assessed, and then now we already certified to implementing the standard operating procedure with the COVID-19 standard. Next. It is time, if you enter the Nusa Dua area, starting from the main entrance, standard operating procedure have been applied to all visitors and workers. Start with the my main gates for guests, visitor. You must check the booking confirmation. If you don't have booking information, or you don't have any reason to come the Nusa Dua, so I'm sorry, you can allow to the area. And then for third party, we check the permit. Maybe you have a contract, everything. We check over there and about your permit. And then for employee, we check the ID. And then all you must use the mask. This is very important. All the people, if you come to the area, you must use the mask. It's a very standard. And then if you stay in the Wanda Hotel in Nusa Dua, they follow hotel standard operating procedure. You check the temperature scanner, wearing mask, hand wash, using hand sanitizer, everything. Next, if you know, next. If you stay in the area and then you want to have, you need the activity in the area, we have the golf, yoga, surfing, theater, water blow, museum, shopping mall. Now it's already comply with the protocol COVID-19. So when you stay in Nusa Dua area, you can choose this activity. But we already check with the government and team from the government to make sure the standard operating procedure already prepared and already all the people allowed to implementation the standard operating procedure. And if you back to the hotel again, the SOP, you follow the hotel standard operating procedure until you back to your country. Like so, this is one procedure we have already implemented it in the Nusa Dua area to make sure the tourists, if you want to come and stay in the area, make sure you are safe here. Next. It is the future tourism for the future. With the COVID-19 experience throughout the world, it will rise talk about how the tourism business will go in the future. In accordance with the previous stipulated by the government and with the premise But I think the conclusion from the survey and or analysis, Professor So Ken Lee, can set the promise that one of the necessities of human life is traveling. The tourism sector will continue to grow in the future, but now we must prepare the condition with the protocol, because this is a new era. With the new era, new condition, we must make alliance with the condition. And then look from data, increase in room occupancy rate in June 2020 compared to May, it's already going up. That sign is the tourists step by step already trust to start for tourist or traveling activity. I hope in this discussion or lecture, and then all the participants can talk. Bali ready to waiting for you, and Nusa Dua already waiting for you. Come to Bali for traveling. Next. This is important for the future tourism to make how to build the trust, how to build the trust for tourism. And that means that the customer need now, we from ITDC, step by step, make sure to make customer needs. What we do, we already do the preparation of appropriate infrastructure to support the, I think from the Ministry of Tourism and Economic Creative, already have a once brand to cleanliness, health, safety, and environment program. I think this is very important to prepare and then implement it for the all tourism destination, ensuring the availability of SOPs in its accordance with the COVID-19 health protocol, of course, ensuring that the human resource who are in the charge of providing service are in accordance with the standard operating procedure and are consistent in their implementation, while still prioritizing the aspect of hospitality, marking in the integrated activities with all components of the tourist industry. Next. So this is one of my the timeline strategies for domestic tourism. So as you know, now the government already have step-by-step strategic start from the local, and then start from 9th of July. The Bali government already open for activity for the local business, and then start from last of July, the government already start to promotion and open activity for domestic tourism. This is my time schedule aligned with the strategy of the government. It is start from June until July. It is still with the domestic tourism, and then August and October intercity tourism area, and then November until January 2021 tourism between province and island. But now we still discuss about the international tourism, because the government already talked with the other countries, with the other all the world, to make sure, because all the world needs the government direction to open the activity, the people, just in local or go to the other country. This is very important. But now it's still discussion, the government are still discussion about the condition. And for tourist interest focus, I think same like the analysis from the Professor So Ken Lee, staycation is start from staycation for local tourism with restriction with the city only, and then after that start on Agustus, step by step, we open the activities more than just a staycation. But milestone recovery program di Nusa Dua, now we start from promotion of staycation, pay now, stay later. We coordinate with the all hotel or facility in the area and design the event program and explore Nusa Dua package. You can open in my website what we have program in Nusa Dua. So combine leisure and MICE, promotion of Peninsula Island for the land lease corporation and promotion of wellness. So next we discuss about MICE. MICE is very important business for next. Step by step, we make sure we coordinate it with the MICE infrastructure in the area to prepare the standard operating procedure to help the MICE activity. Next. So the step we are currently taking in Nusa Dua prepare for the tourism recovery. We are maintaining synergy with the government, tenant, and other stakeholder, and then innovate and continue to explore the new idea to maintain the sustainability of the Nusa Dua area. And then, of course, its discipline is very important in implementing SOP to maintain the quality of this area and creating competitive human resource in the face of the change. So that is what we can convey in this good forum today. Hopefully it will be useful, and we look forward to welcome all of you traveling to Bali and the ITDC area, of course, in the Nusa Dua. Thank you very much. I hope we make a discussion of this information. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pak Ardita. Let's give him a big applause for Pak Ardita. Ya, Pak Ardita. Mana applause-nya buat Pak Ardita?
Still in prepare.
Pak Ardita, thank you so much for sharing about what ITDC is preparing right now for entering the new normal, post COVID-19. So you were saying that the MICE industry has been affected and hit so hard by the COVID-19, especially in ITDC Nusa Dua. And therefore, ITDC needs, the challenge is how to prepare a safe MICE activities, which is going to be held very soon in Nusa Dua. When will it be open, Pak, for Nusa Dua's MICE activities?
So step by step, already discussed with the facility, the government, and the ministry already makes some information. Maybe the first step is a meeting for the government and meeting for a company they held in Nusa Dua. And after that, to make sure for all the world, we are now can handle with the safe for the activities, especially for MICE, but start from meeting, a small meeting and bigger.
Wow, that's really
but
great.
Tomorrow we discuss about standard operating procedure with the Ministry of Tourism. We have that is my program.
Simulation.
And so, we held the simulation.
Yeah, I've noticed and took note that ITDC now is emphasizing more to the THSA implementation, cleanliness, health, safety, environment, sustainability at Nusa Dua. And you have already done so many things related to the SOPs, the changes in SOP, the changes in how you will deliver the service next to the customer after the COVID-19. All right, but please don't go anywhere yet, Pak Ardita, because there are so many questions, I believe, from the students that they would like to ask to you. But first of all, we would like to see a video. After that, we would like to invite Pak Arya, our third speaker, to present his presentation. And then we will have a panel for question and answer. Is it okay, Pak Ardita?
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can the committee show the video about Magister of Tourism UPH?
Currently, the world has been greatly changed because of the pandemic COVID-19. This pandemic has forced human beings to decrease their movement and stay at home. The situation also impacting the world of education, where the teaching and learning cannot be conducted at school or campus to prevent the spreading of COVID-19. However, thanks to the advancement of technology that enable people to stay connected, now teaching and learning process can be done online. UPH Master of Tourism provide the hybrid learning method that enables students to keep on learning during this situation. This method also helps those who want to further their education while pursuing their career. Join us at Universitas Pelita Harapan Master of Tourism.
Thank you so much, committee. Well, I hope everyone, other participants from the undergraduate program would love to continue their study to Magister of Tourism UPH. All right, let's us invite the third speaker, Bapak Arya. Let's give a big applause first for Pak Arya. So we are so glad and feel honored that all the experts from the industry, the practitioners, are here to share about their knowledge and also experience. Dr. Candidate I. Gede Arya Pering Arimbawa, SAMSE CHA. He is the hotelier and chairman of Indonesia Hotel General Manager Association. Bapak I. Gede Arya Pering Arimbawa is the chairman of IHGMA, and now he is also serving as a cluster general manager at East Area at Archipelago International Hotel Group. Previously, he also served as the general manager at several hotels under the umbrella of Archipelago International, including Harper Perintis. Ladies and gentlemen, all participants and students, let us welcome Pak Arya. The stage is yours. Selamat pagi, Pak Arya.
Selamat siang di timur ini,
Oh
Bu
iya,
Dr. Amelda.
Pak Arya di Bali ya, Pak, sekarang ini ya?
Sekarang lagi di Makassar, Bu.
Oh, di Makassar, I see. The time is yours, Pak. We are going to hear your lecture today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ibu Dr. Amelda, and thank you, Ibu Diana, also for inviting me to join on this class, and also our host, Bapak Anugrah. And my big boss has been explaining everything completely, Bapak Ardita, actually, and also Professor Suchi Lee. Actually, what I'm trying to a bit share, this is not talking about what we call it teaching, but sharing actually, what we have done in the hotel industry. Because as we might know, pandemic COVID-19 is really terrible for tourism industry, especially hotels itself. We work together with the team in Indonesian Hotel GM Association and also PHRI also work closely, and some of the stakeholder under industry division of Ministry of Tourism. Then we come up with the protocol kesehatan. And somehow what we are facing right now is actually it's all about regulation. Between are we going to focus on the business effort, economic growth, or are we going to focus on the health itself? This is still on further discussion. I'm sure Pak Ardita agree with it. Okay. Now we are talking about new phase of tourism and hospitality industry post-pandemic COVID-19. Next slide, please. As we might know, across every industry, the world is witnessing effort to bolster customer confidence and keep the economy rolling. Protocol like mask wearing, hand sanitizing, and social distancing are being accepted as new norm and tactic for keeping people apart while continuing to conduct business. I put the underline is tactic because Professor Sulkili has been talk about data analysis based on the research. Pak Ardita also share on the data itself, and now I'm trying to share about the tactic itself. Yeah. As explained previously and underlined by Professor and also Pak Ardita, now we come up with touch-free or contactless are the other of the day. What does it mean on it? Because it is changing actually. Okay, next slide, please. I really have only short slide. Yeah. COVID-19 drove rapid change in customer behavior. What we have to educate our customer too. We have protocol kesehatan, health protocol has been issued by the government, and we have to work together as a team, not only government, as you might inform us earlier about punishment to the people. But what we have to do, I ask to the government also work closely with the stakeholder, with the association to emphasize because this is must be known, owned and energized. So who will going to be involved on this part? We cannot only deliver this kind of duty to the government itself, but we as a leader, we are all together, and you are also in the master class batch, UPH, the new batch right now. This is our responsibility. We have to educate our people. Other side is we call that customer, external customer. The behavior is changed. This is also what we have done in the hotel industry. Keeping pace with expectation has never been more important than what we have to do, because every people are scared with the hoax at the beginning. Yeah, we call that hoax at the beginning because the message is really, even somehow they are not read it yet, but they share it to everyone with the social media and also WhatsApp group, something like that. And people are scary actually. While we don't know what is COVID-19 is, and we don't know yet what is going on with the COVID-19, what we heard is about the terrible things is most of people are die because of the COVID-19, then become scary. I'm telling you about my experience, once, I think on January, I went to Thailand. Then people start talk about COVID-19. After that, it's really rush on that area. It's really rush. Yeah, lucky for me that, I went back to Bali safely without any without any adoption. Yeah, but learn from this situation. I also think above and beyond. Talk with my community in association, guys. What we have to do now, we are facing terrible things because of most of the customer got blocked. Actually, what we call that block. Why block? Because no one allow, their people going out from their country, even us in Indonesia. If I'm not mistaken, the occupancy going down on the March, third week of March, occupancy slightly down into 20%, into even 10%, and some hotels start close. They are afraid with the situation, or they cannot pay what we call that the fixed cost. We are confusing on that situation. But what we have to do, we have to be reborn again. We have to be what we call that as a fighter, born as a fighter with this kind of situation. That reason why, as a leader, we have to think problem is the opportunity. As you might know, the business, some of the business are kaput, some of the business are down and flat, but some other business is growing. Like you might see so many general manager now is opening the what we call that a local catering, and also they have side job. It's really what we call that initiative. That reason why as an employee, as a GM, also as a leader, we have to develop ourselves to measure ourselves with the entrepreneurship behavior with this kind of situation. We know that so many things about leadership. We can explain anything about leadership, but at this moment, what we have to grow is entrepreneurial behavior. We have to think above and beyond. See what is the guest expectation. Then what we have to do, the answer lies in the keep up with your customer changing need. What we have done in the hotel and some of my colleagues in association, we ask them to prepare, even though we have no health protocol issued by the government yet, but we have followed the regulation by providing what we call that bilik disinfectant, and we provide hand sanitizer. In the lobby also we have to provide screen guard, something like that. Actually, hotel has been followed the regulation. Actually, the standard of GHS has been followed. Hygiene, it is a must to deliver the hygiene. Cleanliness, no one will come if you are not clean. And also secure, what does it mean secure? What does it mean secure? To comfort with this kind of situation. But what we have to follow is only adapting with the new regulation by wearing masks and also providing what we call that washing your hand, wash towel right front of the lobby, something like that. But those two things must be followed. The other side is really help us, like what my slide show. Okay, next. This is the things. People is really number one in the hospitality. We cannot change on it. By providing warm and sincere to welcome our customer, to anticipate our customer, and also to fond farewell our customer. We cannot change it. Even though some of other country growing with robotic, growing with something with really anticipated on this kind of things, but we have to go back like what Pak Ardika, our previous Minister of Tourism, said. People we cannot change. Hospitality is talking about people. How technology will reshape the hotel industry on the post-COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, next slide. Now, hungry. We think above and beyond again. I'm trying to open one of the application in the App Store, and they have actually barcode. Then we provide barcode in the guest room, and we put everything all in the compendium, all the facilities, all the amenities, all the information about the hotel. We put it into the barcode, because as you might know, in the beginning I said that paperless, touchless, something like that. We use barcode. The guest is only scanning, and then they got the information. Once they're ordering something, also they can do it. Even in the restaurant itself. Yeah, we have no menu at all. Yeah, the staff just come and then greet the customer and also giving the barcode, and then the guest can order everything based on the menu that we have to provide. Okay, next slide. Beat the queue and check in online. Choose your own rooms. This is the new things actually. At the time being, I'm still work closely with one of my colleagues in Jakarta. Come up with new idea, new technology with new idea. Why don't we order the rooms same things like we order sit in the flight? Yeah, something like that. Why don't the guests can order and book the room directly and pay everything like what flight has procedure right now? They can order, they can take, they can choose, they can pay everything. Everything is touchless. This is the thing that what we come up the idea with this. Okay, and the next, please. Next slide. Touchless payment. Yeah, we have to work again. Yeah, with the ADC machine provider. What we have to do? We have so many things how the payment is can be used, like OFO, something like that. I don't want to telling about the payment method itself, but we have actually, yeah, we have the facilities, but we never use it, which is not common, but now become common. Yeah, we have to work on it. Okay. Next slide, please. Contactless communication with butler chat. And what we have done currently, like in our group Archipelago, yeah, start from the guest check-in process. We give them one of the application entering to the data, and we welcome our customer by sending the message to them as a butler, we call that. Yeah. Then the guest can chat us, can send a message whatever they want, whatever they order it. They can also use the butler chat, something like that. This is the idea that we share to our college in the association. Okay, next slide, please. Digital face scan thermometer. This is can be used once we have money to invest, because at the moment somehow some owner also probably not approve those kind of thing of the technology that we need to provide because of the money, because we have no business stable yet. But we have, as a leader, we have to explain clearly to our owner, because of the technology also help us to promote our property, something like that. Okay, next slide. This is what Pak Ardita said, talking about MICE, sophisticated virtual meeting equipment. At the moment, somehow we welcome MICE actually in east part of Indonesia, because most of the government also using our facilities. And we have to provide the virtual things, all the equipment we have to provide it, like LN Dikti probably by next month also hold the event in Harper Property in Makassar. They also using and ask us about what is the virtual meeting equipment we have, and they will provide it. This is a kind of new thing for us, but this is a good tool for us also to grab the business. Yeah. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, this is the summary, but I'm trying to explain about the picture. In the hospitality, people is number one asset. But what we have to do with our asset, we have to adapt with the technology. We have to combine, become a smart employee. If we combine, we have smart employee with a very good technology, then we can grab the revenue. That's all my presentation today. I hope that can be explained a bit about the progress during post-COVID-19 in the hotel progress. Okay, thank you very much, Ibu Dr. Amelda.
Terima kasih kembali. Thank you so much, Pak Arya, for sharing the best practices right now in the hotel industry related to the preparations of how technology will reshape the hotel industry. We can see that many hotels now are aiming to prepare the touch-free or contactless, and then QR code menu, the ones with the augmented reality where you scan the QR and then we can see all the menu floating in our phone. And also, yeah, self check-in, room assignment, touchless payment, even all the things, equipment, technology for health and safety, such as digital face scan, and also sophisticated virtual meeting equipment, which will be used in the MICE industry post COVID-19. Thank you so much, Pak Arya. Let's give him a big applause. All right, so we're going to do a panel question and answer session, both from Pak Arya and also from Pak Ardita. So we will see all the questions that we have managed to gather using the link. All right, the first question. Are you ready, Pak Ardita and Pak Arya?
Ready?
Yes. First question goes to Pak Ardita. It is from Yuda from Undiksa, also from Bali. The question is, what innovation has been made or prepared to present quality tourism during or after the pandemic in Bali? Thank you. Let's see the second question first before we give the opportunity for the both speaker to answer. All right. The next question comes from, also from, this is from Morgan, Universitas Pendidikan Ganesha. The question is also for Pak Ardita. In your opinion, how long will Bali tourism be able to get as many guests again before the COVID-19? Do you think Bali can get as many guests after COVID-19? All right. Do you have a question for Pak Arya? All right. We will wait for Pak Arya's question because perhaps the committee is still typing them. We will give the opportunity for Pak Ardita to answer both questions first. Can we go to the previous slide? All right. From Yuda. Pak Ardita, time is yours.
I'm here.
Yes.
Thank you, Bu Imelda. Thank you, Pak Yuda from Undiksa. So, what the innovation has been made or prepared to present the quality tourism during after pandemic in Bali? So we start from the Nusa Dua. Now we prepare all the standard operating procedure. That what I said, what I talked with in my presentation. So now we already changed. The condition is totally changed for a service, but infrastructure is still the infrastructure. Hotel is still, but how to handling the tourism? This already changed. I think Pak Arya already talked to. There's many innovation now with technology and then standard operating procedure. That is important for now and the after the COVID-19 and the future. I think tourists will be trust about us when they already log the change, log the standard operating procedure with the customer need, because when I said all the people in the world now, they already worry about the condition. But what if we want to go with already open the tourist industry, make sure they're safe. Now, in Nusa Dua, there is many innovation we do. For example, tomorrow we will check the facility and prepare for the standard operating procedure. That's important. Of course, Pak Arya already talked about technology. All the hotel in Nusa Dua is already changed the system, use the technology, and trains all the employee to make sure that it's safe for tourists if you come already to Bali, of course. I think like that. Not just in Nusa Dua, but I think all industry, all tourism industry must be prepared for that. If not, you already lose. You lose in that condition. Ya Pak Arya?
Yeah, setuju.
Okay. Next. The next question is, in your opinion, how long Bali will Bali tourism will be able to get many guests again before the COVID-19? Do you think Bali can get any? So I think we have the same opinion with Pak Arya, because we are the same industry. Make sure the industry, the tourism industry will be step by step and grow and back again. But we know the condition already changed. We prepare from now. Sure, the industry, all activities, economic, tourism industry will grow up again. But when? Step by step, the government already have regulation. Start from 9th of July and then 31 of July. Now we prepare for international, but still discussing about, because the government make sure we have the two. It is economic, it is a health. It was handling balance. That's, we just not talk about economic, but talk about wellness. It is important. Now we will already talk. I think same with the professor. They said now the important thing is the new normal habit for people. I'm not let's say this important now. The pandemic, day by day, still grow. How to make sure the people, it is important to make decline for start to start again the activities, the tourist industry. But about the time, I think all of us can make the time directly, but make sure step by step makes the confidence, and then make the trust for the tourists for what we do now. I think like that, we have want the information, but now still in discuss with the government. I will do information with Pak Gede Arya next. Thank you, Wilda.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Ardita. Yeah, I'm also convinced and believe that Bali will recover very soon. Even eventually, people are now really wants to go out for a recreation and also for visiting places. I think Bali will recover very soon. All right, the next question for Pak Arya. Yeah, this is from Bella from Surabaya. How to deal with the decline in hotel customers and hotel problem during the COVID-19 pandemic. All right. Farid, would you like to directly answer the question?
Yes, I will start to answer the question. Actually, at this moment, somehow in my base now in Makassar, Harper Perintis Makassar, we have and receive work together with the government for the quarantine guests. Half of the floor used by the what we call as COVID guests, and half of the rooms also open for public. Yeah. We have so many things problem with the guests come to the hotel. Once we explain about that we have quarantine guests in our hotel, and they also deny and doesn't want to stay with us. And some other customer also having the same problem with the condition itself, themselves. Yeah, we follow the regulation, and I found one of the customer also with the temperature really high with our standard, and we also talk nicely to the customer to not allow them to come to stay the hotel. The guests complain to us, really, and talk embarrassing, because somehow guest is always a king, what they said. Yeah, but the problem is we have to follow the regulation. We have to stick with the regulation. Otherwise, because of one person can distribute the virus to everybody. This is the thing we have to do. The deal is we have to follow the regulation. I think that's all my answer.
All right, thank you so much, Pak Arya. Pak Arya has already also explained and mentioned about how to have an entrepreneurial behavior, right?
Right.
So hotel is also shifting, yeah, and also having other resources to earn revenue, yeah, besides the hotel guests. Okay, so we have another question for Pak Arya. Okay, this is from our institution, Angeline from Universitas Pelita Harapan for Pak Arya. What are the downsides or consequences in transforming all the systems to digital?
Okay.
Pak Arya?
Okay. The answer, thank you, Angeline. The answer is we have to adapt. Whatever it is, the time's growing. Whatever it is, we have to adapt with the transforming all the system into digital. But still, in the hospitality, what I explained earlier, people is number one asset. Like right now, this is, which is funny, but this is what we call that, good example actually. The marketing system, we go back to 30 years ago, what we have done, something like that. We use our truck going around to explain our facilities and our top food selling. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, when I was junior high school, if we want to see the movie, and there is a public transport going around by saying there will be a new film coming soon. Yeah. We have to go back. Somehow we have to go back to the traditional things. Yeah. To what we call that, back to 30 years ago. Yeah. But somehow we have to consequently ourselves to transforming all the system into digital. Why? Like what Pak Ardita said, if you are not providing, then you lose. because the trend is coming up into the digital side. What we have to do now as a leader, again, we have to work closely with the team, what we call that always QIT, Quality Improvement Team. Yeah. Then we have the minute meeting, then we share to the owner, or if the hotel under group, they can talk to the operator too. They have to explain clearly why we need to invest some technical, some technology, some digital system that we might need to adapt. Because of what? Because the trend of the promotion, it goes to digital. That's all my explanation. Thank you, Ibu Dr. Amelda.
Thank you so much, Pak Arya. All right, seems like we have only 2 minutes left, and I would like both of the panel speakers to give their final motivation, inspirational quotes, pesan dan kesan buat mahasiswa-mahasiswa kita, ya, the future leaders of the tourism and hospitality industry. We would like to give the opportunity first to Pak Ardita and then to Pak Arya. Pak Ardita, kesan-pesannya buat anak-anak mahasiswa kita dan juga the students yang belum ke master program but coming soon.
So at this time, I want to talk with all of you. Still in great position, and then make sure optimist. The tourism industry still grow up and growth in the future. Now, in this condition, prepare the best what you can do. So I think you will be success in the future. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, Pak Ardita. Dan Pak Arya?
Ya, ini jangan bosan-bosan ini. I always got the inspiration from Fred Lutan because he talk about psychology. Again, be a hero, like Fred Lutan said. Yeah, hope. Yeah, hero. 1 H is hope. O is optimistic.
Yes.
R is resilience. A is efficacy. Build from now on. If you can do it from now on, you can survive whatever era it is. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pak Arya. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's give an applause for both speakers, Pak Ardita and Pak Arya. Before we close, I would like to invite Ibu Dina to present the certificates of appreciation both to the panel speakers, Pak Ardita and Pak Arya. Ma'am Dina?
Yes, we are very honored and very delighted and very enriched, by the sharing of these two great speakers, Bapak Ngurah Ardita and Pak Arya. So first, I would like to present the certificate of appreciation to Bapak Ngurah Ardita. We know that you are very busy, Pak. You are very busy, and yet you still have time to share to the next generation of future leaders for tourism. So we really appreciate your time, and please receive this certificate of appreciation from UPH School of Hospitality and Tourism. Thank you, Pak Ardita.
Thank you. I appreciate your certificates. Thank you very much.
Next, I also want to state that our high appreciation to Bapak Arya Pering Arimbawa for his time, for your sharing to all of us this morning. It is really valuable and really update all of us about the current situation in hospitality industry. And we also want to wish you all the best with your study, Pak Arya.
Thank you.
We know that he will soon become a doctor, just one step away. So good luck, Pak Arya, and thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you, Ibu. Very much appreciated.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Dina, for the certificate presentation. So I would like to give it back to the MC, Pak Agung. The stage is yours. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to our public lecture today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Ames. Truly, what great insights we have all learned today from this public lecture. We would like to thank again our amazing speakers, Professor Sulki Lee, PhD, Bapak Dr. I Gede Arya Pering Arimbawa, SA, MSc, CHA, and Bapak I Gusti Ngurah Ardita, SH, MH. And not to forget our wonderful moderator, Ibu Amelda Prameswari, who have given their time to share their insights and for today's public lecture. Okay, so as Ma'am Dina had already previously said, in this public lecture, we would also like to use the opportunity to welcome the Master of Tourism new cohorts. Let us give them a very warm welcome and a very big round of applause. Lastly, and certainly not the least, we would like to kindly remind all of the participants to fill in the feedback form once again. It would really help us a lot in improving our performance for future webinars and public lectures. The links will be submitted from the Zoom chat, so make sure you check that on the Zoom chat. And now, to commemorate the moment, let us take a virtual picture together. And I would like to invite one of our crew members, Ms. Patricia, to help us document the moment.
Thank you, Mr. Agung. Good afternoon, everyone. Today we have 14 pages. Please open your camera and give your decimal. I will start from the first page. 1, 2, 3. Okay, next. 1, 2, 3. Next. 1, 2, 3. Sorry. Page number 4. 1, 2, 3. Number 5. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
It's number 7, 1, 2, 3. Number 8, 1, 2, 3. Number 9, 1, 2, 3. Number 10, 1, 2, 3.
So many pages.
Yeah.
Yes, we have 341 participants.
Yeah. It's a record.
Yes.
It's a new record, I think.
They're all students and also participants from all over Indonesia, Pak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and the last page. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 3. Okay, thank you. I will send it back to the MC.
Thank you very much, Patricia. And once again, I would like to remind you that don't forget to follow our Instagram and other social media links. They'll be shown in the shared screen right now for other insightful information and our future events. So to close this event with a bang, let's celebrate it with a small dance. The crew will now show a video of the dance moves that all of us should follow. Is everybody ready? If you are ready, let me see those thumbs up in the chat or in the participants. Can anybody give me the reactions for the ready? For the thumbs? Ready for some dance? All right, we've got several thumbs up here. Okay.
Oh,
Okay, thank you, crew. And now, as with all good things, we now have reached the end of the public lecture. We would like to thank all the participants who have given their time in participating in this event. And we would also like to thank you for making all this happen. And I personally would like to thank you and apologies if there have been any mistakes or any inconvenience that have been caused. It has been an absolute pleasure for me to serving you during this event, and we'll